not supposed for do am. So it's a shame that we dey go through this kind of democratic decline. A country wey don hail as being able to put themselves on the trajectory of post-conflict reconstruction, a country wey don hail for say we don conduct 2 successive elections, governments don change hands from SLPP to APC, from APC to SLPP, for where political analysts dem believe say whenever this situation happen in countries, especially in post-conflict states, is a value because it shows say democracy don dey consolidate. But for now we can get a mission report where systematically they outline the democratic regression we for concern. And I want to use this opportunity repeatedly for say, yes, we've been done the call for this, but we voice them on the drown in political party people that were on the all over social media and the radio, they say things that were not right. But then now it's a shame that an international community and this is the European Union. I just want to make people that know say when we talk about electoral reforms, we've been get a number of agencies, international missions. There was the Commonwealth, there was the Carter Center, there was ECOWAS at the sub-regional level, there was the African Union. They all been there in country backed by the observation of domestic elections observer group, and all their recommendation they all tie in. So their recommendation has to not to European Union no more make them. Okay. Their recommendations have been made across the board by a wide range of elections observation missions.
Okay, continue for day with you, Marcella Sambasi, say Executive Director, Director, National Elections Watch. Will they come back to you inside the program?
The program, Good Morning Salon, they continue. We go look later at the program into the details of the list and findings them, but large just being Reverend James Eli inside. We just don't listen to Marcella way. It don't make mention of say the civil society community. When I receive this as a disgrace and shame for let the international community come back na salon for can reiterating them where initially the civil society organizations then be done they make mention of, but we not see much way be done towards that angle day. In as much as they don't describe them as a shame, let's look at the issue we get for do it. Salon they practice a democracy. Now whose kind signal this descend to the kind democracy we salon they practice currently?
Well, me consider I'm also see a blessing that this is happening at this time, and the one that we supposed for act on the issues raised. Waiting would they see for be the reactions, and so it able guide we in which strategy we will therefore engage for approach the observation of the 2023 elections. Because this is like telling us this are what we have observed. You need to do this, and you will be in the right place. And those who are the duty bearers, who should be acting on this information, now they're busy, the crisis. They're not saying not correct too. Why not now then they talk? If they talk now, does it make it wrong? And they said they do and so, they do and so. Does that make it correct? Now that they should be busy to see how they can reverse these things and make us appear to the world as decent people, they are busy saying, they do it today, they not talk. Now, then they talk. Yes, will they talk now? Every time, the circumstances, now they determine whose approach we not get for take. For we, as National Election Watch, we also don't begin for do pre-election assessments before every by-election way they happen. We've not been doing that before. So we go for can't talk say why now? Then they do pre-assessment election assessment. Let me tell you, we started it with the by-election in Tonkolimba. Then do election fetch for them, then kill policy inside it. And then declare a date for a rerun of that election without going into that community and find out what the issues are. Now then they be make we say we will start doing pre-assessment visits. We went there and we realized that if stakeholder engagements had not taken place before that election, it was going to be a massacre if they had attempted to go and do that election.
All right, Chevela, just solid break. Let me take commercial break. Then after the break, we will come back to you for continue for talk about the issues that we don't begin with. The program Good Morning Salon, they continue. We come back to Reverend James A. Lahai, the National Coordinator for New. Maybe they make mention of issues them way they don't monitor so far we get to do with elections and how that could affect and bog salon democracy. We talk about the issue we get to do with the Tenko by election will be happening, issues them will be come out from there. But as I take them from that Q day, when I don't monitor different elections, when I don't get findings, we can discuss and response can come out from different elections management body them and self overhaul. At times we can get government representative them, we can respond to some of them concerns here. We can come out from una like civil society like new where don't they observe elections. The response them where una don't they get from different election management body them and overall from sometimes the government. Una thinks that they don't they take issues them una don't they raise over the years as serious as it's supposed to be.
Then they become deaf to the point that they're not hearing again. And when you explain, now in the town like they use the cock more, and it is dangerous. Make I explain give una when una they do elections pre-assessment, waiting it involve. You know they manufacture findings. You they go into the community, engage various stakeholders, anybody will get something for do with the issues, get their opinion, ask them back for recommendations, waiting you feel say go happen where that thing they not go be. Now the same thing can happen. That team will not can manufacture anything. They engage various stakeholders in the country, including the duty bearers. They even meet the president. And after all them consultations and engagements, they come out with waiting at the findings. And let me tell you, let nobody not deceive himself say, when we observe with findings, we therefore can't discuss them with you first. For let you guide, we say, no, this simple and day because not be mistake we make it. No! The period where we want for you read that, now the time of engagement with you. When would they discuss the issues? When you say, they tell you, say, now this, now this, now this. And when you they talk back, the one where they left, where you know they talk, through body language, would they pick all.
So,
and at that day they inform, whatever press release would they pull.
So when you start for talk, you so much emphasize, say, them they don't do one before. Is it that you think, say, the authority then now they feel, say, on a presence previously, no, they don't come out like how now they come out so strong? Now, it make the defeat say before maybe new nobody come out and take them kind stand here for talk about things that when a lapses to democracy.
It's just being dishonest and insincere to their consciences. Who now aware now where there be the label we say we na SLPP. There not be the label we know also from the blue so.
Oh, that be the label now.
That time they na APC be the label that time. They were in government. You see, this thing is like a musical chairs, and they are disadvantaging themselves. They don't even know. When you allow the wrong things for begin happening, but I don't know what happened with politicians. They know they even read between the lines. This was the same posture of APC. They felt they're going to remain in power forever and ever. And so those things that they should correct, they failed to correct them, which is what is haunting them now. They want them now corrected, but those who the thing was against, it is now in favor of them. So they are now protecting it. Failing to note that they will not be there forever. And now they are not trying to put the wrongs right so that everybody would be fine at the end of the day. We, the citizens, are the victims. Because it's like a vicious circle. Let me give you this example. the issue of the constitutional review. This was a very strong advocacy instrument of the SLPP in their New Direction manifesto, which was not going to cost a referendum or this or that, to come out with a white paper and inform this country about the decisions of government with regards to those recommendations. And please, 1 minute. At the recently concluded conference, when NEC called on election observer missions, their recommendations, the Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice boldly talk at that conference, say, Cabinet don't conclude the white paper on those recommendations. And give we confidence that that conference say, as the president come back so, that white paper will be made public. And that the white paper take on board or agree to over 95% of the recommendations from the CRC. So what is happening? That the president not carry it?
We will go back for a look at the issue we get for do with this press release we come out from the EU election follow-up mission. One thing we not seem for come out clear yet from the election management body, the way they make mention of now the press release where they pull we get for do with the significant decrease where they sit on the pan trust from salon people in their institutions then yeah. Now as to reason why the salon people and when they talk to being give that kind of response, they say they don't lost trust in their institutions, and they make mention of the police, judiciary, NEC, PPRC, and other one they say etc. But from una we don't they monitor elections. Tell salon people them waiting at some of the things them where una don't observe say they happen na their institutions here we make people they lost trust in them, especially we they find ourselves in a critical situation. Just now, we get for do with the 2023 elections. And if trust not there in their institutions here where they manage the elections, how it will get for come out? Waiting at some of the triggers then when I don't they see, when I calls for the people and lost trust.
Maybe I go use we election pre-assessment of the Kwenadugu district by-elections will take place. We go do a pre-assessment of the political environment before the elections. And we came out with a press release outlining our findings and what actions must be taken to ensure that that election was free from violence, it was transparent, accountable, and credible. Now only PPRC respond to them thing they will raise by coming out with a press release for say, you will not get business na Kwenadugu district, don't go there. The police did not act. NEC did not act. Those who should take action did not. And the very things we said would happen if they do not take those actions were the things that happened.
So why won't I cannot foresee some of the danger of violence which can happen at certain elections, whether not by election or so? On a can go to the authority, them for ensure say the election be peaceful, fair, and also not get any doubts. They're not can really consider some of the things that we on can outline, despite on an institution where they represent the interest of the public.
Yes, very interesting. But I tell you, now make what we tell the other road one, would they come back and tell the public that will tell them, say, this go create problem. Oh. You know, say, what they do that here, they don't want to let them call them and tell them, say, that's what they do. The way that they respond to this particular press statement from the EU delegation, don't tell you, say, they want to refine things about themselves, but they are doing otherwise. So now make, what they not do, would they talk? Just like whatever I said, we are just one and the same, we are election observers. Okay. They're not all area. All right. So we continue to say it.
Okay, Reverend James Ela, I continue for the between at the program. Let's just quickly bring Marcella Sambasese inside. The other day we been get the judiciary, the communications head na the studio, they talk about then same issues here. We get for do with this release where they look at. And one thing where the release site out gets for do with the replacements. They make example of the replacement of the MPs them where after the election we've been see the decision we've been come out na courts. For democracy na salon, waiting the representative they talk here on Monday. From the judiciary, he said them been do this as part of precedents when they said them other government be done set in 2012, sorry. So from then kind of precedents here, if we see judiciary, for example, they continue with then kind of precedents here, waiting it go for mean for salon democracy.
Maybe, when you dey draw inference to that interview there from the head of communication for the judiciary, it just show the degree to which the judiciary, the concerns for the judiciary day. That was not the representation of the judiciary when we go proud of from a country. And I think say it will be good for let the judiciary look inwards, that kind of representation. If that was what they put together to respond to the statement, I am afraid say we get a long road with the judiciary in this country. We are calling for moments of reflection. Removing 10 MPs from parliament is wrong. If not that precedence we want lay for democratic track, with man called trajectory. Now democratic track that one day. Said that we possibly make one bad decision, we can compliment them by making 10 wrongs. That democratic track they go bring we down as a country. It's not good. But we don't say this over and over. This do me or do you, they destroy this country. If they destroy, we add one democracy. People need to understand, say, this democracy, so people die for them. August 18, we were part of the students who were marching down to Freetown. That is enough, this was for done. Me not be student leader. People die for them. So people want to see a situation where peace and stability go there, let them go understand say we life go before. It's too much of this. It's too much of this. The judiciary in any society for able for organize themselves, for able for institute in an independent manner justice and adjudicate on the matters. Let's tell you, this electoral legal reform what they talk so is spanned from the electoral offenses, the petitions them we're going to the court of justice in this country. The electoral offenses, 285 cases now reach the courts. That's not only one that we tap in a police station, no. The one that will actually reach the courts almost gets conviction 5. All the other one then to where they say lack the necessary ingredients for let them prosecute those matters. You know what's in do with the talk is it brings impunity on these issues. Where people then go scatter ballot box in the eyes of the law enforcement officers. Nobody they no arrest. People then go, they march stealthily, ride na Koinadugu, then burn ballot boxes. Nothing they no do. Now the situation they get worse, and when they say no, enough for Biso, justice. In fact, you talk and I say waiting justice delays, justice denied. This thing. We don't need international for counsel. We don't make us say it's a shame to the one that really head those institutions. It's a shame to the advisors because all the politicians, they are politicians. They don't understand some of these things. But you when a professional, you then at the legal system. You don't go through robust education. You don't go through law school. You know there is also the aspect of ethical conduct in all of this where public office forget. You know say whenever you do anything so wrong, you they breed aggrieve people in the society, then you they continue for doing. That is not the posture we want. There's been a lot of investments, post-conflict investments in the judiciary because it's the hub of transformation of the society. It's Sierra Leone for transition to peace. We should have the necessary institution where they guide we for be stable within that peace
so like
setting.
institutions
So
for
the judiciary, the police, and the National Electoral Commission and the Political Party Registration Commission. Now, for critical body, then that one day we go help for stabilize this country in with democracy.
So if we take the judiciary, for example, then can talk of different reforms and when they say don't happen this BNTM, they don't make sure say they don't able to reach out to side areas and we not be get magistrates and judges and do other things them way according to them beliefs in reforms and then they we go up for capacitate them for improve on the justice system na the country. But from civil society perspective, now waiting and still they miss we make people forget perception. Say the judiciary, for example, still they take some decision them where they affect the overall justice system.
In fact, the question you can just turn on into answer the decisions where then they take where they affect the overall justice system. This is the problem. This is the problem. In a society where, for example, the constituents, the people, they call it the will of the people. Now in a ballot, the will of the people. They may say, inside me act. Oh, they do this head of media house election and maybe I want. Inside me act, I don't go put ballots for them. That make them say the will of the people. It touches my emotion. I like Mabel. Now I make her put on my own candidates that one day. The constituents then don't go put them candidates. When they don't go put them candidates, the court say there were legal issues with regards to this candidate. Democratic rights presuppose that constituency they want and back. Let the people now they get the mandates. Let them can express their will back if there is an issue. Now, the courts go institute 10 MPs there. Now, courts do that kind of decision. This is the decision that is affecting the state. And as they say, we don't need external person for can't tell. We say we don't plant a democratic wrong now in society. We go hunt this country, in generations to come.
Okay.
It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. We have said it. So all they want, the way they say they want evidence. Let me say this now. Because I've been following the discussions. They say they want evidence of who that they talk to.
Okay.
You don't need evidence. The evidence is there. And these people, if you are a government official and you're asking for evidence, where were you when all these things were happening? You were in the same Sierra Leonean state governing the state. Why they cancel who that they talk to? Look at all the National Elections Watch press releases.
Okay.
Look at all the outlets, the credible media institutions, the way don't they discuss this issue. Whose evidence they ask for?
will they come?
The 10 MPs, we are 10 MPs not removed from the Sierra Leonean parliament. Whose evidence clear past that one day? So like we reference say, let's be honest to ourselves. This is the time for reflection in advance for the 2023 elections, where a lot of people don't say, hey, Marcella, this 2023 election go tranga. Now we don't get this report. They're not only, the kind of discourse where they happen at the national level, it don't escalate to the international level on this matter. Let's come to the table and see how we forge ahead for address some of the issues here with detrimental to the Sierra Leonean state.
Okay, continue for the with in name na Marcella Samba Sise, the executive director for New. Inside the program this morning, they look at New them position on the European Union election follow-up mission and findings and recommendation them where them pull out, we get for do some institution them, we responsible for support election process them now the country. The program Good Morning Salon they continue, and inside the program today we they look at New them position on the European Union election follow-up mission, then findings and recommendation them. We talk about institution them like the Judicial, NEC, police, PPRC, and other one them. Where them findings there show say people not get to expand the institution they are. And now they come over to we studio guest them. We get Marcella Samba Sise, executive director New, and also we get Reverend James Lywin, a national coordinator New. Before we go for the break, Marcella, you really talk about government reaction in terms of where they ask of the sources where they get. That's the different people when you talk to, we make the able put them findings here together. So far, government to address this issue. What you will say about government reaction and the address on this particular issue?
Okay. One of the things I listened to His Excellency in interview on CNN, and one of the things they were very positive. I like what it is. We say would engage. I think that's the starting point for every Sierra Leonean right now on this issue. On this particular issue around democracy, elections, and good governance. He said, we'll engage. He said, I inherited a bad police and bad judiciary. I just the paraphrase in statements now CNN. So, in actual fact, we get for begin think, what's the happy with police and the judiciary, they act this kind of way. So, you change Monu to Moegbe to Sovola, in order for making no difference until the police understand, say, then they serve the society. Now, this is democratic policing, and they get forget the efforts for them. They get for help for build peace in the society. The same with the judiciary. You think, say, for change the Chief Justice, for drive, what we're doing is instituting their institutions, they are let them be serving agencies. What we call state capture, for happen. Their institution, they have to now for create fairness. Because politicians in themselves, democracy is very competitive. Say what you mean. But good governance now they can after. Now for promote strong institutions, now for promote people that within at the driving seat, we will able for lead the institution there, less stability and growth then at the state. All the things that we will talk about investments, then go only happen if the country get peace.
So how Salon go respond to the issue we get for do with blame game, and how governments can inherit situation when they can meet? Because whenever a change of government happen, you bring come the new administration and go send the blame back to the old administration. Other one come, it go repeat itself again. As Salon now, how we go address the issue of them blame game then the way we don't hear of how government inheriting company. The president we already say this are unfortunate reports we come out because they say they don't engage the EU's them after we them been pull the EU after we them been pull and find them. But this is described as unfortunate, and as we stated earlier, a blame the waiting he been inherit again. How Salon for address the issue of blame
So,
game?
first and foremost, let's go back as far back to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report. We say let's get a constitutional review process. Because the 1991 Constitution, I don't say this a number of times. A number of institutions don't say this. A number of other individuals don't say this on and on. The 1991 Constitution not able to carry with democracy. It's not a democratic constitution. You're not going to use a constitution where make inside one party system. Use them inside democracy. So part of building the peace will be need for get a very strong and robust constitution with the carry with democracy. So, but we see say successive governments they don't get the courage follow get constitutional reforms, and a very important, very progressive things then go happen if we help for make that constitution they look at the process we will need for putting in place. Now, the constitutional review process they go on. Who do I know what's in the inside that white paper? Who do I then talk to? Did we have a statement to say, now so we want for do this one? Nothing. So let me exactly, as I say, let the government try for use this opportunity for reflect, and let we see how we could progress. Now these issues have come to the fore. Let we hear it from the constitutional review. And the second issue we maybe I'll ask, but waiting for happen, because we dey see this blame game on and on. We get for manage the transition properly. I think say for the most part, politicians they now all waiting and they do 90% are for appeal to their support base. Waiting me supporter then go say, waiting me supporter, because we as Sierra Leonean people self we not able for drive who say one follow we country go. We want for see unhealthy competition within the political parties they all the time. So they really want for energize their support base. Anything way then they do their statements the way then they make in a public very divisive, and they want for energize them base. But then get for understand say there is more to Sierra Leone than the two political parties. Yesterday I tried for look at a quick analysis of the two parties them on who that they actually vote in 2018. In 2018 about 3 million, a little over 3 million voters. For them two political parties they are during the runoff, one get about 1,200,000 and something, the other one get about 1,300,000 and something. So at every given time, from both sides, it's about 12-13%. But we get the bulk of Sierra Leoneans and picking them not votes. People and they were not participating in the elections. So you get a bulk of Sierra Leoneans there. We know they're part of this divide where they talk about. So any governments were able to take that bold step there and come off from this excessive political divide. Democracy, very important. Once elections are competitive, democracy you get for build consensus.
So in as much as the issue don't come out, say most of the lapses here and most of the institutions they are not to something we don't happen now, it don't did it for a long time. You know, things say the authority them were in charge for make the reform here, that government directly need a step in the right time for ensure say whatever reform they make, then for do according to the necessary procedure them.
Absolutely. In fact, the SADO for say why should they fight for reform the judiciary and police next self one can add. Me I go appeal to NEC. I don't talk say democracy, free, fair and credible election as spinal cord of democracy. I go appeal to NEC. Let them look through the rank and file. Una all the success and progress of this country. The integrity of that commission is very much important. Una self no can add pan this problem we'll get. And one thing where the National Electoral Commission get for no, all the commissioners, the one that way they administer elections, integrity critical. Now that one day una no get nothing past integrity. Now una get forget a robust pattern for begin build trust in a transparent manner. Yesterday I mentioned, say, for example, the political party liaison committee meeting since the Koinaduku by election, they no call am. But thankfully, immediately after, as I return back now office, then say correspondents don't come for the PPLC meeting. It's good. You know why that they important? Now they consensus they happen. They call a multi-stakeholders platform, so that nobody no go say I not been there with the decision.
So the issue of integrity and independence for some of the institutions, yeah, again, a concern from the public. We get for do with appointments and for some of the heads of some of the institutions, yeah, where they manage the country in democracy and governance, where they come direct from the presidency. As a nation, how we go address the issue we get for do with independence and integrity if you get appointments from the president and they can say you get for serve your master? How for managing kind of situation here?
Thankfully, integrity not a cheap commodity. Some people are so poor, all they get na money. So integrity not a cheap commodity. For let people they get high moral standard, especially in society, where then they in sharp decline, very scarce. And so we get for look at that critically. In fact, I make the law put safeguards. They say before ever the appointments then they happen, especially for top-notch position, top-notch space like Electoral Commission, because now then they guarantee say this person has so if it's run this country by how they conduct the elections. So for top-notch institution they like National Electoral Commission or any state, the law put safeguard. It say for consult widely. Consult political parties them so that the commonality go they say we agree on this policy. Now every society, I mean they follow a debate in Nigeria because I'm interested also in West African politics. I mean they follow a debate in Nigeria. Immediately, in fact the public immediately they appoint a particular electoral commission and they say no, you are partisan. No, it was a no on the possibility they appoint. Because waiting do you get for go there with an open mind. Waiting on while you can say na national elections watch fall white. You get for go with an open mind for say you are running an elections for the state, for the country. So now I make it fine for learning. Always they do background check. They say this person not forget issues with public office, for them any public office, whether they appoint them, and equally so, for them a political party. So evidence for abound. And evidence for about prudent consultation, and then the consultation not to just the political party no more. The public, if they get evidence, then say for come forward with them for bring them to the first say the people the way that they appoint as such that they go able for carry that responsibility. So there is a lot to democracy and building consensus. Nobody not supposed to force any electoral commission upon any society by force. The people for able for determine say yes through parliament this person has so fit for take this position and we get trust. Now I make way then they say dwindling trust. If you fail for build consensus, then people go say, what if they force for put this person in power? We will no answer. So dwindling trust, you get for ensure say people understand why not this person we want for put and consult them and carry them through. That is democracy. Whilst, for example, in one party state and dictatorship na power, in a democracy is together we can do it.
So in line with this EU then follow up findings where they put together some recommendation about certain institution them. The concern of the public on other than the source don't be one key thing or topic of discussion on this EU then follow up findings and recommendation them. You think say that's an area where people for focus on or rather than waiting them for not?
In fact, when you talk about source, you see anybody will ask for source, they not even do research. Because right now, if I want to know the source, even the European Union Facebook page, then get photo evidence, not to even writing, not to script, not to narrative, photo evidence of all who that they talk to, all who that's then at their Facebook page. So waiting at this thing of source, waiting at the source.
But the view they go
the evidence for me, right? And the source, when then they talk about, for me the source no matter. Elect not to European Union come. I just mentioned the same sentiment expressed with the Winneba when the presentation day before when the ECOWAS parliamentarians came. The same reaction. Did this happen in Sierra Leone? This can never happen in our country. So the same reaction, elect not to EU come, other experts then come on election for can do the same thing. Are the same. Once the evidence not the same,
Right.
in order for change.
But the view they go say
the national election watch don't pull all their statements they are over time. Nothing not then at these statements we wrong.
It's the program Good Morning Salon. They continue. We come back to Reverend James Elahai from the National Election Watch New, the national coordinator. Now, just quickly tell listeners them and certainly election management body them where they listen. Why for take these recommendations and we come up from the EU serious, from the EU elections follow-up mission? Why for take serious?
Thank you, Mabel. I actually want balance that you questioned it, because this public discourse a day now to the normal citizens. We don't even know what's in the inside this press release. I want share them to the public, so that when person they go talk to them, they self go see where will be every the inside it. Number one, the press release say the need for let them go back to the constitutional review and do something. It still remain. It not still remain. The white paper don't come out. It don't come out. And then they say timely disclosure of the white paper na condition for transparency and accountability. We don't get them. You know the day. You see, they say decrease in the trust. Now we look at the Kabbalah election. Inside next staff change figure from 49 to 149. We don't go trust that kind of institution again. You know they in decline. Then we talk about the judiciary. Right now, they arrest 4 people after that by election na Kabbalah. 30 days they did not sell. Then they in courts. Why is the court they go on? The magistrate talk openly say he don't get order from above for say they for send them people then they can free talk. Then send them can. You know, let's see how people they deny. Let them look at the facts and see if them facts here not so true at all. That by election they don't talk about them. Now cause for level land with lessons. And before then they make defense. I'm glad the way Marcella don't talk, say they don't call for the PPLC meeting for cap. From that 10 day, PPLC meeting are every 2 weeks. From that 10 day, they not call PPLC meeting yet. Why?
So for NEC, they say not for use that one instance in Akwenadugu for judge them.
Okay,
After we then say they don't hold different elections, and we according to them, then classify the election, then they as clean elections then.
Well, inside elections, one small mistake when you do, or what you do don't point. So let them not dwell on past thing. This one, we don't want to let them repeat it again. Look me say repeat it again. Sorry for their English then. They say government get role for play for ensure say their institutions there they sit up. Now they rule for make sure say their institutions there they sit up straight. I really want to look at them one by one. They say the Public Elections Act, Section 146.4, talks say where they nullify the outcome of an election. Now other election for take place. Now so it be for them train people them. You see, people who then decide their development plans for this country, who still will get election. The midterm census not start itself. By the time they done, this government go still there. If you get for them, they say background, and when they don't renew the mandate. Now this process, now you get for provide data for guide them. You see, some of them things there where people they go and talk. Let we look at the issues where the people they mention inside this thing they are so. And then government we don't say then they establish a trust fund for NEC. Where for make NEC not go straight for do their work. But say now the ministry no tell NEC how this year get for can be that way itself not the day yet. And then the issue of the voter register. Say now we don't know who side the NCR they go. And at the election we go to. So, now the things and this they don't mention in this press release. So what's in there inside this press release where they make people that they holler. What's in there inside it?
So from what you don't mention from the press release, we state the findings and recommendations of EU then follow up. It clear say issues of them why I don't do for a long time. If institutions or head of institutions them we be done they previously not able to get a right way back. Why you think say them forget a right now in a hurry?
Not in a hurry. You just said no say we don't begin the panel. From all the panel, we still the panel. and we are gaining.
But people
Wait, I dey tell you say it is not in vain. We they succeed. Imagine the PPLC they be don't stop at the color. When Marcella can already we talk to no more, we dey go meet 11 o'clock. Now make you represent you dey. We dey go meet today. So it means when we dey do them thing there, it get impact. And so now we will continue for do.
But people believe so that they pile more pressure now rather than previously, because the EU recommendations them not now they don't come out, and don't they come out in other previous time them. But people say on a presence will be come out like this way. How na they do so?
I go let you go back to una archives, because una are people we are get respect for una archives. Una go there, and they know if what we are doing now is different from what we have been doing.
So why them for take the findings them at this stage very serious?
It has been very serious at all stages, and it will continue to be serious.
So the institutions them way, for example, they indict now the press release. Waiting on the civil society members and they expect of the institutions here.
Would they expect them for them to look inside themselves back, embrace themselves up, for let them able to execute the mandate as the law say without fear or favor.
Okay, plenty thank you to you, Reverend James Lahai, National Coordinator New. Quickly over to you, Marcella. One thing we need for me clear now, the different things that we state inside EU follow up in terms of the findings and recommendation. I mean, blind to the view for say most of the NTNA in you, we don't they point out to government and also to the public anytime any election happen. So people or they make it clear now for say all of them things here, not only just channel them through EU. Because I feel say if una talk, government and other body then we supposed to act and do the right thing, not go take the right decision.
Now, the current government, we don't say earlier on at the program, the current government, all them positions there. So, the new direction manifesto, it quotes and champion the constitutional review in a very positive and progressive term, but then don't depart from that one day. All them things so we Reverend take time, because now that's purposely we can't do now the studio this morning. We say let we educate the public. Whatever the statement say, not to anything far-fetched. This statement now for consolidate with democracy. We get a lot of work for do. Instead of we move around, they cry down at this person talk, now this person talk. The issue of who that talk no matter, the evidence no matter. So whether a national elections watch statement, and this statement would, I mean, people go for dig them up. More missions than get for calm. They get for dig up a lot of information. But we want for, appeal to we leaders them. Leaders them from the side of government, the institutions of the state where the trust level don't go down, the political parties, civil society, every other person will get a stake in this, and also the international community. Me want for appeal to them as the chairperson for National Elections Watch. Do you allow put democracy high on the agenda? Democracy now they bring peace. Democracy now they bring participation. This way where they go so not good for we country. We don't say at times without number. So let we not take one a couple, not to one thing safe, a couple of things we don't go wrong so and allow this country for degenerate. Let we hold this country with two hands. Let we look at the issues here critically. Let we ensure say the issue of constitutional review we address them. Let me ensure say the women's the gender empowerment bill where they done before parliament. Let me ensure say that bill they go through and it pass. These are democratic progress. In fact, follow up missions in elections now phenomenon where they ensure say then they benchmark election progress so that it don't make sense. If EU don't put 29 recommendation in 2018, then come back on the eve of 2023 for can put that same recommendation there. Now make them don't institute waiting and call follow-up missions in electoral processes, electoral observation processes. And also EU no more don't call. Commonwealth self immediately after the elections. We're gonna bring some money, we form the task force, and a number of things don't happen. So let we look at that progress there. And I want to end with His Excellency statement. He said we would engage and also look at the institution, the judiciary and the police so that they will be independent. If una don't meet them bad, una not left them bad, una promise we a new direction, una invest in her, let it go better we all.
All right.
And then no more with the say.
Many thanks to you, Marcella Sambasise and Reverend James Elahai. We are joining the program this morning as we look at the issues we get to do with the findings and we come out at the EU elections, follow-up mission, and self-recommendation what they make. Now, this edition of the program, Good Morning Salon Golefuna. Plenty thank you to the production team. Alex, Lawrence Koroma, and Michael Sambola produced the program. DJ Ahmad Gui, technical support. Moses Cabral, make us live on Facebook. So to meet again. Welcome. So get yourself a wonderful day. Goodbye.
And Sapti Calendar says, stay tuned to this frequency. Bye-bye.